So I'm going to give you guys a quick tour of my neighborhood, my kindred or clan, as some people say. So this is, like I told you guys, all of this area is the same last name. This lady you're looking at is my cousin. Her father is my uncle. The house you're looking at right now is her father's house. That's the house I'm pointing at. This woman that we has a black top on is a cousin's wife. The house you're looking at there, on the right there, is a cousin's house. So we're all the same last name. And that cousin lives abroad, okay? And that's my cousin, I'm talking again. And that's a cousin's wife. And that's a cousin's wife. So yeah, now I'm heading back to my father's house. Okay, this is just the wall between my father and his brother. So this is my father's house. I've shown you guys this before. This is my father's old house. On the left there, the house he built first before he built the big one. Because it's my father's land. This is the land of my ancestors. This is where I come from. Wherever you find me in the world, just know that this is where I come from. So I'm walking barefooted because it's my father's land. This is the land of my ancestors. This is where I come from. Wherever you find me in the world, just know that this is where I come from. So from this angle, I'm now at my father's. This is still my father's house. Another angle of my father's house, and then now this is. I'm trying to go and start from the beginning of my. Let me use the word neighborhood, my clan or my kindred, like people of the same last name. So what you're looking at right now, that wall is a cousin's house, the same last name as my father's last name. On the right, you're looking at is the same last name as well. These are all the lands that belong to our grandfather. So this is our people are the first original settlers on this land. Okay, so this, when I say this is the land of my ancestors, it is actually the land of my ancestors. On the right is another cousin's house, is the same last name again. So on the left is my father's house, which you guys have seen. So I'm going to take you guys. So now I'm going straight to the compound in front of my house. This is my father's elder brother's house. So he had 3 wives. The houses you're looking at are the houses of his children. So you see the black gate you're looking. You can see my father's house is still behind there. Okay, and this is still at the same surname. So this black gate you're looking at is the house of one of my uncle's children. So that's a cousin's house. Okay, this is the beauty of where I come from. We are actually from there. Do you know what I mean? So that's my cousin's house you're looking at. He doesn't live in the village. None of them live in the village. Okay. And that is my uncle's obi. It's like a sitting room in those days that you're seeing on my right there. Okay. Sorry, on the right, not my right. And then here is my uncle's house. My favorite uncle ever. Yeah. That is his house. He's gone now as well. And on the right is the house of one of his children. Okay. And then further down is the house of one of his sons. And the interesting thing is this. Some people don't seem to get the message I have tried to pass across. There's so much insecurity issues. The house I'm pointing out, I'm going to put the camera back up again, is a brand new house. This my cousin that built that house lived in Abuja. He never came to live in his own house because of his security. He was sending money for people to build for him. He never lived in it. It was after he died that his body was buried. This is the house of a cousin again, and that cousin is the same last name. So this house you're seeing that is like white and black pillar, that guy is dead and is buried there. He never lived there once because of the insecurity. So the one at the back again is another cousin. In front of him is his mother's house. Okay, and on the left behind this lady is my uncle's house. That's the father of all these houses I'm showing you, the father of all the sons that built these houses. So I'll say this again, in my place only the sons inherit. Just try to get the message, okay? So this is my uncle's compound, right? My father's elder brother. And that would have been, I think, the second born of the family, if I'm not mistaken. I may not be 100% correct. My uncle used to sit behind this, just by this door when he was alive, but he's gone now. He was my favorite uncle. So this is my uncle, right? And one wife here, another wife there, but the woman is, they're all gone anyways. Her house has been demolished. You know, one of my favorite things about him is he was so generous. You know, he was so kind. And I remember when we were kids, he used to come back from the market. He used to sell flip-flops and sandals and stuff like that. I think school books at a point. And he would buy us akara and split it into million pieces just to make sure everybody got something. You know, I loved him. I remember I loved him a lot growing up. Okay. Now I'm walking to You see what I'm telling you about? We don't block off relatives. There's always a wall connecting us. So this is it, leading me to more relatives. Okay. Now, on the left, they are relatives, the same surname. On the right, family member, cousins. So on the left and right, they are all cousins. These houses were not there the last time I was here, to be honest. The last time I was here. But so it's still the same last name. So all of them live in the cities. All. You would notice that what you see the most in this village, since you've seen me, are mostly women and children. Because all the men are living in the city. All. Basically, almost all. Almost all of them are living in the city. Now, so I'm going over to the compound of their eldest brother, who is my uncle as well. And he too is dead. Again, it's still the same last name. Okay? So it's still the same last name. So all of this is actually the compound of our uncle. Our uncle, you guys have been seeing in my videos. This is the compound of his father. Okay, his father had, I think, 2 wives. So I hope I'm correct now. But I remember 2 clearly, but I can't remember it. Oh, some old houses that I remember are still here. See that? That's a mud house. Look. See that? These are the kind of houses I remember when I was a little girl. When we come, a lot of people lived in the city, but when they come, this is the village where we come from. And there was more than 2. I think there were just 2. So this is his father's compound. I'm walking. Would have been the house of one of his wives, as I can remember it. Yeah. So this is the back of it. I've not even gone to the front of it. So yeah, so all this land, yeah. See, now I'm heading to the front of that uncle you guys have been seeing. I told you guys is actually my cousin. So now I'm heading to their own house. So that would have been his father's house on my right hand side. Yeah. This is one of the old structures. One of our uncles. This is his house, and he had 2 wives. One wife was here, and one was behind. So the road that would have led me to the next group of houses has been closed because that relative decided he didn't want to do the normal traditional thing and he closed it off. Oh, okay. This is another cousin, but he's gone now. This is the land he was trying to build before he passed on. So these are all houses of more cousins. That one is a cousin's house. Okay, and this is the house of that uncle you guys have been seeing. That is his father's house. Okay, and this is another cousin's house. He's the same father with that uncle you guys have been seeing. So this is still the same last name. All of this is still the same last name. It is so beautiful. Can you guys see how green my village is? I've talked about it so many times, but I know people don't get the message. It's like words don't do justice to it. Beautiful village where I come from. I'm still barefooted. I was loving it. And the ground was hot, but I was loving it. Like, I won't swap my experience for anything in the world. So because the other door has been cut off, we had to now go through the other way to another. So this is my grandfather's, this will be like a living room. Like, this thing is more than 100 years old. My grandfather, this is where okay, he's my cousin, but he's like an uncle. But you see how far we had to come. All of that is still the same last name. So this is my grandfather's, would have been his sitting room. Get the mud house. And this now I made a mistake here. I grew up thinking this is where my grandfather lived, but I forgot the fact that there was polygamy. So no, it was my grandmother that lived here. He had a few wives. So this is the house of my grandmother. And in those days, the men will have their own house and their wives will have their own huts as well. So this was the house of my grandmother. I don't know why. All my childhood, I'd always thought that is the house of my grandfather. So excuse me, or just understand that I made the mistake when I kept on referring to it as the house of my grandfather. This is my grandfather's house. This is where he lived. He's the father of all the children and the grandchildren you're seeing. So this is my grandfather's house. Like I said, he's over 100 years old. It's actually, luckily, the people that the members of the family that inherited this place, they kind of value heritage and, you know, history. So they decided not to demolish it, and they left it the way it is. And this is just, you see, they put a roof over it just to protect it a bit. I remember as a kid going in there too, because my uncle then was used to live here, and his wife and children. We used to come here to see them. And this would have been, well, I showed you guys outside. So good afternoon. So this is it, my grandfather's house. This is the land of my ancestor. This is my grandfather's house. You can see I'm so excited. The father of my father. And all the people I show you are just cousins and their wives. And because none of our uncles is still alive. That would have been a toilet, that thing there over there. And that's a tank. So one of my cousins, this is the house of one of my cousins. They are the ones I inherited here. So, did you see what I got? So, I feel privileged to be able to touch it. It's my grandfather's house, and that is his door. I never met him, but I get to see his house. That is his window. I took a bit of a rock from there. Oh, you know, this is clay, red sand. I took this one. I took this one from there. I'm going to keep it for myself. The house of my grandfather. The house of my grandfather. So that's basically it. I've shown you guys around my village. I've shown you guys where I come from. So yeah, I've shown you guys my village. You get a feel now. And when I talk about my village, at least you guys now have an idea of what I'm talking about and how beautiful my village is. Look at, and this is the dry season, and you can still see that my village is so green. Then come back in the rainy season and see how luscious and green my place is, you know. So I really hope you guys enjoyed the tour of this, and looking to, you know, just that you get to know me more and get to, you know more about where I come from. And this journey has been one of the best things I've ever done for myself. One of the best things ever, you know. Is a memory that I would always cherish, and I'm so glad that I brought you guys along my videos. Don't forget to click the thumbs up as I continue to take you guys along in this my stay in Nigeria. Thank you for watching. Bye.